Okay, so we are doing this again, Thriving Live, Tuesdays at 2. I'm Gabrielle Senza, and I'm here with you doing a live one-to-one coaching session. If anyone wants to pop in and get some one-to-one coaching or some processing done with me for help with a problem that's persisting or a worry that is consuming you, or maybe even a thing that you're worrying about in the future, right? Like something that's looming and you're feeling really worried about or conflicted about, or you're having trouble making a decision. Anyway, I'm here for you if that's what you need. If that's the kind of help you want. I'm going to shift my lens down a little bit in my camera so I don't have to, I don't know, get on a ladder or something. And let's see, this should be streaming live right now on YouTube. And let's see if that's actually happening. I can't tell, but I think it is. We shall see. I haven't quite got the logistics worked out, the tech, so I know that clearly I don't know what I'm doing, but I hope that doesn't matter a whole lot to you, because it doesn't matter at this moment a whole lot to me. We're here, I'm live, and I am here to share some hopefully things that could be helpful for you. Okay, so what I usually do with these sessions, as with any kind of session I'm doing, including like a direct coaching session with people, is I always like to start with pleasure first. So we'll do a short pleasure first. I usually have some topic that I might be talking about today, or if people are coming on and they have something in particular they want to work on, I'm here for that. That's why I started the show, so that we can actually work through some things. If you want to find out how to get in and be live on the show with me, on the call with me, we're doing them through Zoom. And the link, I'm pretty sure, if I remember it correctly, is bit.ly, bit.ly/thriving live. See what happens. Yes, that takes you to the meeting registration. So you can just pop that information in, your name and email address, and actually it shows join the meeting in progress. So if you do want to pop in, that's how you do it. You go to bit.ly, so bit.ly/thriving live, all one word. Okay. And obviously, if you're tuning in on YouTube, you won't be able to see what's happening. I mean, you won't be able to be audible with me, but I think you could possibly comment live. Of course, I need to be able to see it. So right now, I'm trying to find if there's an easy way for me to figure that out. Sure does not really seem to be, but it's got to be really obvious. So my apologies for not having that figured out for you in advance, or for myself even, because I really would like to see what's going on, right? Like, is this happening? Are there people watching? All that kind of thing. Here, let me try Thriving Live. See what happens if we go to Thriving Live. Oh, we got all kinds of interesting things with Gabrielle. It's showing the last sessions. I don't think it's showing this real live one right now. So maybe we're not really streaming live. We weren't yet. I see. I needed to log in. Imagine that. Here we go. Now this meeting is being live streamed. to YouTube. So welcome everyone. I am really excited that you're here, and my apologies for that, glitch in getting that worked out. So I learned something new every day. All right, so we'll go from there. If I turn this on here
now,
there we are,
being live streamed.
Okay, I'll turn that down so I can't hear it. And if someone does come on live to join me on this show today, I will have yet another technical challenge to work out on the fly, but we'll just make it happen. Okay, so I can see we are live, and I think people could actually even write in something. So I'll keep that open so I can keep an eye on it. Okay. So if you have something that's going on in your life and you want a little bit of either some help with mindset, changing your perspective on something that's going on, or you'd like some parts work, that's what I'm about. And it's about finding pleasure in each moment, which is often really challenging to do, right? And even if it's not a big bunch of pleasure, even just 1% better, how can I make this moment 1% better? 1% is a tiny bit, right? So it's not a huge thing. It could be like, oh, I could shift my position, or I could go for a walk, or I could get on the yoga mat and do some downward dogs, or I could just step away from the computer and, I don't know, take a few minutes to read a book that I've been wanting to read or something like that. So you know what I mean? So just 1% more pleasure can shift how your day goes. And all these ideas are coming to mind right now, and I want to share them all. And I want to stick with the format I generally use for these shows. So I'm going to pop open my notes here to remind me, but I think I have it. So to remind you, anyone that's on or tuning in in the future, my name is Gabrielle Senza, and I am an artist, an activist, and a badass empowerment coach. I love helping people change their perspective. I love helping people find their voice and express themselves fully, and really actualize the life they are dreaming of, right? And I know from my own experience, it takes a lot to do that. And it's really helpful to have someone on the path with you, like having guides. And I always turn to guides and coaches that can be like really excellent, really excellent support, like in the sense that they pull out, like, what is it I really want? What's my why? Why do I want that? If I got the thing, how would that make my life better? What would that make possible for me next? Like if I got that, and then what's next after that? How can I grow fully into my potential, I guess, for lack of a better word. And so here I am skipping again. We need to get to the pleasure first. That will help me ground. And that is also why I do this practice in all of my coaching sessions. It helps us get from all the things that were going on before arriving here into this present moment. So I'm also shutting down my laptop so that that's not distracting me. I have the live happening here next to me in YouTube. I've got you here. So let's do it. Let's do it. So pleasure first. Today, let's keep it simple. Just get present, take a few deep breaths. You could keep your eyes open if you wish, or if it helps, I find it's much more helpful to close my eyes and take a breath, let it go. With my eyes closed, I can go more deeply inside and be less distracted by all the things that are around me. So let's take a couple of deep, slow breaths. We'll inhale on 4 and exhale on 6. You ready? So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's just keep that rhythm going. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep the rhythm going. I'm just going to do it with my fingers instead of speaking. Exhale. It's okay to do it imperfectly. I know I was doing it imperfectly. Sometimes there's trying for a long, slow, even inhale and a long, slow, even exhale, coming in through the nose and out through the nose. But I was shifting it up and it wasn't necessarily even. And nevertheless, I feel a lot more present and a lot calmer. And I can tell my voice has shifted. Excuse me, cadence has shifted. And I feel more grounded, yeah, which was the purpose, right? So I can find pleasure in feeling more grounded. I can feel a lot of pleasure in feeling more calm. I feel like I can maybe keep up with my thoughts. My thoughts have actually slowed down a bit, so that's helpful. And for you, for anyone watching, I hope that you can also feel a little calmer yourself, both in doing that exercise of the long, slow breathing yourself, as well as through my presence, which is now more grounded and calm. So thanking myself for taking, that probably wasn't even a full minute, or if it was, it might have been a little bit more than that, but really not much. So I definitely just improved my day way more than 1%. And I hope your day has already been improved way more than 1%, or even at least 1%. Okay. If it has, I'd love it if you pop a message, a comment into the YouTube stream. So why are we here today? Well, as I mentioned, I am a coach, an empowerment coach, and I also help people around finding their voice, their creative expression, their power, their joy, their pleasure, and their passion. Yeah, like helping excavate and find, like, what are those things that really light you up? What are the things that are in the way of like accomplishing the things you wish to achieve? Very often, as you may know, it's a lot of negative self-talk or things that other people say or have said to you in the past. Those often keep people from moving forward. And there are plenty of ways to change that. And that's what I love to do. And I've put it into practice myself, where finding myself in, sort of these repetitive negative thoughts, or sort of just being pessimistic or cynical, like, oh yeah, that's going to go well, right? So I know out of my own experience that anytime I approach anything with a sort of cynical or negative attitude, I'm going to get some fairly unpleasant stuff in return. It's rare that I get a really pleasant surprise. And so today, actually, I just had a perfect crystal clear example of this. So there has been, so I'll give you the short story version of it, okay? So I've had this issue with the Registry of Motor Vehicles, or the Department of Motor Vehicles. I can't remember what they go by these days, but in state of Massachusetts. And for the last 3 years, they've been sending the excise tax bill from the town of Lanesboro, Massachusetts. I don't live in Lanesboro, Massachusetts. We don't have our car there. It's actually here in Great Barrington. And so why aren't the bills coming from the town of Great Barrington? Long story short, I have spent the past 3 years trying to figure out how to correct the situation, and all the ways that have been mentioned have failed until today. So here's what happened. I called up the registry and waited, and finally got somebody, and her name was Stephanie. And I don't know if you've ever, when you go to the Department of Motor Vehicles or the registry, whatever you want to call it, or you've ever called them, often you're met with employees, agents who seem like the most miserable people on the planet. Like, they are just so not into their job and really not inclined to be friendly or helpful even. At least that's been my experience most of the time. And so it's kind of a meme, right? Like, people write about that all the time. They create all these funny stories about it because that's what a lot of people experience. It's not just my experience. So it's one of my least favorite things to do, which is to deal with going to the registry. So I didn't. I called, and the person I got on the phone, Stephanie, I kind of briefly told her what was going on and how I'd been trying to fix this problem for the last few years. And it's resulting in like late fees and all these other things because I keep trying to get it fixed and it's not fixed on time, and there's fees, blah, blah, blah. And so I said, so I'm really hoping, Stephanie, that today you are going to be the amazing miracle investigator who is going to be able to help me with this problem and actually solve it. I thought maybe that would light her up or pique her interest or make her crack a smile or something, which of course I couldn't see because we were on the phone. Excuse me. And I got in response, what's the name on the account? What is the address that's related to the account? What is the name and date of birth of the person registered for this vehicle? Right? Like, totally flat, totally cold, totally not into it. So I was answering her questions, and I could hear her doing the click, 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 click. And there was this little bit of silence while she's like getting all that information in there. And I kind of whispered over the phone, I'm like, may the force be with you. Right? I said, may the force be with you. And I was just like putting all this positive energy towards this person who was being completely unfriendly to me. And just going through the motions of doing her job, relatively, in my perspective, unhappily. But I said that anyway, like, may the force be with you. And then she's clicking and clicking, and another, like, what is the zip code for this car, you know, that kind of thing. Another pretty cold response. And I gave it to her. And I was like, may you be the one who solves this problem, right? May you be the one who solves this problem. And so she came back and she said, oh, I see the problem. And her voice was a little bit different. And I was like, oh, you did? What did you find? It's got the wrong garage code on it, which is what somebody had recommended to investigate initially. And I did try that, but it didn't work 3 years ago. And I said, yes, that's the garage code's wrong, right? And she said, yes, the garage code is for this other place. And so I said, well, here's the thing. Do you have the power to change that yourself? Like, are you empowered to do that? And she's like, I'm trying. And I was like, yes. And then I might have repeated another thing like, let the force be with you, right? And she laughed and she said, I heard you. That was so good. I feel so much better. We've got this. And so yeah, so the short story is she did it and she laughed and she was so appreciative. She's like, she said, well, I heard everything you said. You said, may the force be with me. And that just changed everything. She said, now I feel like I have more energy for my day. And I was like, yeah, we could even do a little dance of like, you know, changing it up. So, and you know, how powerful it is to change the whole mood of the day by changing our emotions and our thoughts around them, right? So I could just be like, oh yeah, she's just going to be like, tick, click, 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 click. Sorry, can't help you. No, up, right? Or maybe she has the power to do it. Maybe I can just like blow fairy dust her way, right? Like if we want to look at it that way, like, may the force be with you, right? And it worked. So I'm thrilled. I don't think that we'll ever receive another bill from Lanesboro for the excise tax bill for a car that lives in Great Barrington or is parked in Great Barrington. So that was a major achievement. I loved seeing that happen. I just so appreciated hearing the person on the other end of the phone go from being cold and unfriendly to being like joyful and pleasantly surprised and interacting with like great appreciation. And she's like, don't you worry, it's okay. You're not gonna have this problem anymore. It's all good. I'm like, all right, that's so awesome, right? So there's another version of this story. This is an incident just like this that happened in New Orleans. And I don't know if I've shared it on the show yet or not, but, and it's a perfect example of this kind of thing where I also experienced the negativity. So I got in the car, I was really angry with the person I was supposed to go somewhere with. She was really late and I was just like, just like really mad. Not a lot of road rage because it's not really my style, but I could tell you I wasn't really happy on the road. And all these things were going wrong. I just had this really negative energy. And so, you know, like a taxi would pull up in front of me and then stop and pick someone up, or then a horse and buggy would pull in front of me. Like, where do we even have horse and buggies show up in front of us in the middle of traffic? Well, it happened. And there are like maybe 2 or 3 other incidents like that. And I was just like, oh my God. Oh, I know, somebody shot me this really nasty glare when I was just like, I don't know, they just picked up my energy or something. They're getting into the cab and they just shot me this look like, who do you think you are? Or whatever it was. And I was like, oh man, I need to change the energy in here. So I said to my friend, let's roll down the windows. Let's roll down the windows or put them down. I don't know if they were buttons or the old style. Let it all out. Let all that negative energy out. let it go, telling myself, let it go, let it go, let it go. Just be in this moment and come back to what's possible, right? I mean, there's a 50-50 chance in every moment of things going really, really well or really, really poorly or somewhere in between, right? And we often are like thinking about how things could all go terribly, terribly wrong, but we rarely think about and give any energy or time to how things could go really, really well, surprisingly well. And so that's what I'm really focusing on nowadays, both for myself personally, and then also with clients and anyone I talk to, right? It's like when we change the way we feel around things, we change everything. Our lives change to reflect that. And it's like black and white, just like in the story. So what happened is once we got, I just was like, put those windows down, let's get all this negative energy out. I'm letting it go. We are going to arrive at this event on time. We're going to find the perfect parking spot. Everything is going to work out beautifully. Like, I can trust that. That's going to be awesome. We've got this, right? And then it was like the seas were parted and we were able to get right to the theater, find the perfect spot. The show hadn't even started. We had plenty of time to go in, get our seats, settle in, and see the whole performance. So that was like a clearly black and white version for myself to be reminded, like, yes, if I'm putting out negative energy and thoughts and just like pessimistic and angry and all this stuff, just all this other stuff to continue to get pessimistic and angry about will keep showing up. That's the law of the universe, right? It's like, oh, this is where I'm putting my thought and my energy. Well, what happens if I put my energy and thought into how it could go really well, how beautifully everything could work out, how happy we could feel, how easy it could be, and allowing that and to be a real possibility, not from a cynical place, the opposite, from an abundant place. Like, of course it could work out that way. Why wouldn't it? There's a 50-50 chance of it going really, really well or really, really poorly, and then everything in between, right? So that's been really helpful for me. If you try it, let me know how it goes for you, or if you have had experiences with it, share them in the comments. I'd love to hear them. I'd really love to hear them. So let me see. It's 2:29 and we are getting towards the close of the show for today. I would love to know what struck you today, what landed for you. And I would love to hear any stories you have to share in the comments. And if you have questions in the future, you can always reach out to me. Check out my website. My coaching website is morepleasureplease.com. So morepleasureplease.com. And you can find out a little more about my coaching there. I'm a certified erotic blueprint coach. If you've watched Sex, Love, and Goop, you've seen what erotic blueprints are about. And I totally love helping people with discovering what their erotic blueprint is as well, and how to feed it, how to nourish it, how to recognize their partners or other people's blueprints, and to expand blueprints, feed them, relate in the world with them. And it's pretty exciting because I think of it like a like a foreign language, so once we learn how to communicate in a foreign language, we do much better in that place that speaks that language. And so similarly in our bodies are sort of wired to be turned on and turned off in certain ways. And the language of the blueprint types helps us understand what those ways are. And then we get comfortable with exploring those things and discovering how things go in our experience when we try different things, when we try expressing ourselves differently, we try playing differently in lots of different ways, erotically, socially, the way we speak, like just all of these things. So it's something that really lights me up. I love that. I love sharing that. So a lot of my coaching is around that. What else can I share with you today before I wrap up? Yeah, it looks like that is it for today, actually. And so I would love to hear from you, as I said before. Reach out to me either on Instagram. I'm at Gabrielle Senza Studio. You can also find me at Walk Unafraid, also on Instagram. And the website I mentioned, which also has an Instagram page as well, I think. Yes, it does. More pleasure, please. So thank you for being here today with me. And I wish you loads of abundance and happiness and joy and discovery and play. Thanks for coming out. I love you, and I will see you again soon. Ciao.